Good morning. It is morning time and it's time to go feed those chickens. Let's go. This is what it looks like. You can see it is corn and a bunch of stuff from rice, some calcium. Alright, so in the morning I usually give them 1 cup of this. Alright. And then I like to put some of the feed up here on the top. Some here, some in here. Alright, you can see right here, this is where the chickens lay the eggs, right inside these little baskets. It's a nice spot for them to kind of hide behind the curtain right here. And if you look at me, we got 2 eggs. So I will take a couple out. And you can see they're kind of a green color. And we'll take these inside and wash them. Let's go. Alright, so now we have the egg, and before putting it in the refrigerator, I usually like to wash it. This cloth right here, it's kind of like a fibrous cloth, and use it just to scrape off some of the dirt. Just go around and around and around. Take a paper towel, wipe it, set it right here to dry, and then I take a little bit of alcohol and then spray it, just to keep it nice and clean. The normal chicken feed is one thing that I give in the morning. Another thing that the chickens actually eat is the shells. These are oyster shells from Kurahashi. Kurahashi is famous for the oyster shells, but what we do, we take these, we put them in here, and we take this big rock, stone, like a milling rock, and we take the rock and smash. And then it becomes like this powder. So this right here is actually the calcium that the chickens use, that they eat, and then their eggs become harder. So we'll take a little bit. Separate the shells from the normal feed, and when the chickens have low calcium, they actually come here and eat it. So the chickens know when they're low calcium. They're pretty smart. Alright, as you can see, these are tomato plants. I have a garden of tomato plants here.
We got Goya, cucumbers, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, peppers, melon, strawberry, shiso, marigold, mint, and then sunflowers.
Good. And so the nice thing about these tomatoes too is that it's good for the chicken feed. So I find tomatoes that are on the ground, kind of the bad ones, and I give these to the chickens. Nice, nice. I put them in the freezer too so that they're nice and cold. It helps their bodies cool off a little bit.
Okay, cleanup time. About once a week I try to clean up the chicken coop. Usually try to scrape up all the leftover from the food and from the chickens going to the bathroom. Scrape it all up and make a nice clean layer for the chicken.
Now we got all the kind of garbage from the chicken coop, and we're gonna put it under the blue sheet to ferment for about a week or so. And we'll let it sit for about a week or so before we put it in the garden, because if you put it in the garden directly, it's a little bit too strong. So you let it sit, ferment, get all the bad bacteria out, and then you can use it as fertilizer in the garden. Alright, so what's interesting here too is the the waste that we just took from the chicken garden, we put into the farm here, and it fertilizes the tomatoes. So the tomatoes that I just ate and that the chicken just ate, it kind of becomes a full circle. So you have the chicken,
and then you got the poop, and then the poop becomes compost. The compost goes into the garden makes the vegetables, and then the vegetables go back to me and the chicken.
so it's one big circle. It's a happy family. Boom. This is the store-bought, and this is the chickens from the backyard. As you can see, this one's a little bit bigger. There's that one, and here's that one. The store-bought one looks like it's a little bit more red, orange or red. This one looks a little bit more yellow, but not too big of a difference. Almost the same. We have the rice cooker, and we're gonna open it. And I'll take some white rice. Alright, so this is a Japanese TKG, Tamago Kake Gohan, which is a simple, you have your white rice and you have your egg, your raw egg, and you just pour the egg inside and you mix it.
Now I can kind of picture some people back home and from other countries not in Japan thinking that it's a little grotesque to have a raw egg in the food, but in Japan it is completely safe.
What's actually nice too is, even though it's a raw egg, it's the really hot rice, so it ends up cooking a little bit. So you mix it up like this. I usually like to keep a little bit of white rice on the side. Put a little bit of soy sauce on the top here, and then some cayenne pepper. Put a little spice on the top. And we have your finished TKG. It's very simple. In Japan, before you eat your meal, you usually say itadakimasu, which means thank you for your meal. So, itadakimasu. Yeah, so I am really actually thankful. I want to say thank you to the chickens for the egg. We'll try it. It's really good. You got your egg, your rice. It's a little bit salty with the shoyu, and then the spice. The eggs that my chickens have here, they don't taste much different from the store-bought eggs, but because they're my chickens, I feed them, wake up with them. It tastes good to me. So every bite that I take, I'm thankful for my chickens, and it's really fun to own them. I've actually even named my chickens. So next time I'll tell you what the names are. Last bite. And then when you finish your meal, at the end you say, "Gochitosama deshita." Gochitosama deshita, which means thank you for the meal. And thank you to my chickens. We'll see you again. I really love my chickens and they're so cute. Thank you.